Doctor Who. The underrated stories. The Power of Kroll. The Power of Kroll is the fifth and penultimate in Season 16, otherwise known as the Key to Time season, the fifth season starring Tom Baker as the Doctor, the first to feature Mary Tam as the first Romana and the second from godlike Doctor Who producer Graham Williams. Season 16 is generally quite a popular season among Doctor Who fans, but the same cannot be said for the Power of Kroll, and I've never quite fathomed out why, aside for one thing. The Power of Kroll sees the Doctor and Romana arrive on the swamp world of Delta Magna, and become caught up in the conflict between the indigenous people, known as the Swampies, and the crew of the refinery, particularly its vicious leader Thorn, played by Neil McCarthy. However, both sides soon find themselves becoming no more than fast food when a giant squid, and I do mean giant, who the Swampies worship as a god named Kroll emerges from the depths of the swamp after a 1,000-year nap and is, perhaps understandably, rather peckish. I'll make no bones about it. I love the Power of Kroll. I think it's a great story that is fun from start to finish. I mean, it's Bob Holmes for God's sake. How can you go wrong? Is it one of his best? Well, no. It's not even the best of the two stories he wrote for this season. But is it good? Of course it fucking is. It's Bob Holmes. Even on an average day his stories are better than most writers on a good day, and Kroll is no exception, containing plenty of sparkling dialogue and impressive world building. Tom Baker and Mary Tam are wonderful as always, and the attempts at the giant monster are actually quite surprisingly impressive, particularly for the time and budget. So what's fandom's beef with this story? Aside from a bit of whining about cheapness, which never seems to bother them under any other producer, rather tellingly, not much. Most of the whining I've heard tends to come via actor Philip Murdoch, who played Fenner in this story. Having previously played Solon in the overrated pile of crap that is the brain of Morbius and the Warlord in the War Games, Murdoch famously threw his toys out of his pram as he thought he was going to get play the baddie again, only to find himself in a supporting role. You know, aside from the fact that this guy had played the villain twice already, and it's rather nice to give someone else a go, especially since McCarthy does a perfectly fine job as the thoroughly hissable Thorn. And apart from the reality that this is nobody's fault but Murdoch's, or at least his agent, for not getting their facts straight, this is yet another example of fandom behaving like a bunch of sheep. An actor, and not even the lead actor, a guest actor, complains about something actually completely irrelevant to the story on screen, and fandom en masse adopts this irrelevance as though it's some kind of legitimate criticism. It's not. It's an actor whining because he or his agent didn't do their job properly. It has absolutely nothing to do with the on-screen result, which is a perfectly enjoyable slice of late 70s Doctor Who goodness in every respect. Is the Power of Kroll in my top 20? Probably not. Top 50? Quite possibly. It's a lot of fun with loads to like and almost zero to criticize other than the most anal, fanish quibbling imaginable. I love the Power of Kroll, and stuff the critics. Kroll. Kroll. Kroll.